Okay, nah. This update is getting ridiculous. You can literally sneak inside the Emperor's palace, sit on the throne, get arrested by guards, fight assassins while flying across rooftops using lightness skill movement, and somehow there's also a giant royal cat beating people up with a fish. And honestly, this might genuinely be one of the coolest Wuxia RPG updates I've played in a long time, because at first this just looks like a normal palace expansion. But after a few hours, it turns into a full martial arts conspiracy story with cinematic boss fights, creepy hidden areas, chaotic minigames, and some really insane world interactions. So today, we're checking out the brand new Imperial Palace update in Where Winds Meet. And trust me, this update gets really weird. Also, huge thanks to Where Winds Meet for sponsoring today's video, because they just released this massive new Imperial Palace expansion, and honestly, the scale of this place surprised me immediately. This doesn't feel like one small update area at all. It genuinely feels like an entirely new city, packed with secrets, side activities, cinematic story moments, boss fights, and random interactions everywhere. And visually, this place looks incredible. The moment you enter the palace, you immediately notice how massive everything feels. Giant halls, guards patrolling around, huge courtyards, NPCs constantly walking around doing their own thing. It actually feels alive. A lot of open world games look impressive from far away, but once you start exploring, everything feels empty. Here though, there's always something happening around you. You can literally walk around listening to palace gossip like you're spying on some ancient royal drama, then suddenly end up doing random mini-games like cricket fighting or mounted archery. And obviously, I had to test the throne. So I sat on the Emperor's throne for literally 2 seconds and the game instantly teleported me straight to jail. Bruh, this palace has a faster anti-crime system than real life. 1 second I'm feeling like the main character, next thing I'm in prison rethinking every decision that led me here. And apparently, you can either pay the fine normally, or try escaping by stealing the prison key from this tiny parrot guard named Lord Jojo using the Celestial Sea skill. So obviously I tried it, and got humbled instantly. I failed the escape in like 2 seconds and the game strapped me onto a punishment bench like I betrayed the entire dynasty. Bro, this place does not believe in second chances. And honestly, I love that stuff, because it makes the palace feel reactive instead of just being a pretty environment. The game constantly lets you interact with the world in weird little ways, and half the fun comes from simply testing what happens if you do something stupid. The palace even changes seasonally too, so once winter mode activates, the entire atmosphere changes. Suddenly, there's snow everywhere, lanterns glowing at night, ice activities, snowman, and the whole place becomes way more cinematic. Without spoiling anything, once you actually start playing through the main story missions, the vibe changes fast. At first, it feels like you're just exploring this beautiful palace expansion, but pretty quickly the game starts hinting that something suspicious is happening behind the scenes. The story does a really good job building mystery while still keeping gameplay active. You're constantly moving through different palace areas, investigating strange situations, chasing people across rooftops, sneaking around restricted zones, and getting pulled into larger conflicts as things slowly escalate. And honestly, that pacing works really well because the game never overloads you with long dialogue scenes. You're always doing something while the story unfolds naturally around you. Visually though, these missions are easily some of the coolest moments in the update. Running across rooftops at night while using the game's lightness skill movement feels amazing. Jumping between buildings, wall running through the city, and flying across the palace skyline genuinely makes some scenes feel cinematic. But the real highlight of this update for me was definitely the Blackclad fight, because this boss fight is absolutely insane. This isn't one of those MMO bosses where you stand in one place and just spam abilities until a health bar disappears. You're literally chasing each other across rooftops while fighting mid-parkour. The movement during this fight feels so good because you're constantly jumping, dodging, repositioning, and trying not to get thrown off the roof. And the speed of the fight is crazy too. There were multiple moments where I genuinely thought I was done. The whole thing feels less like a traditional MMO encounter and more like a full Wuxia action movie where two martial artists are sprinting across rooftops trying to kill each other. And visually, this might be one of the coolest Wuxia-style fights I've seen in an RPG. The rooftop setting, the movement, the sword clashes, the speed, everything about this fight looks cinematic. And right when the game starts getting super serious, it suddenly throws you into all these weird little palace activities. One minute you're investigating conspiracies, and the next minute you're out here hunting for crickets so you can use them in actual cricket fights against NPCs. And honestly, I wasn't expecting the cricket system to be this detailed either, because different crickets actually have their own traits and behaviors. There's also this slap battle minigame that has no right being as funny as it is. This update genuinely feels like someone mixed a serious martial arts drama with complete sandbox insanity, and somehow it still works. There's even this really mysterious side activity called Is It Me or The Mask, which is based around traditional Nuo rituals inside the palace. Everyone starts wearing these ceremonial masks while performing ritual dances and drum ceremonies to drive away evil spirits, and the atmosphere slowly becomes darker and more unsettling as ghostly memories start appearing around the palace. Honestly, I really like that the update includes stuff like this because it adds way more cultural atmosphere instead of focusing only on combat all the time. Then there's the Cat Emperor boss, which honestly sounds fake until you actually see it. I genuinely thought people were joking when they mentioned this thing. But nope, it's literally a giant royal cat attacking people with a massive fish. And somehow, this boss is both hilarious and dangerous at the same time because why does that fish hit so hard? Bro, I actually got smacked across the arena the first time it hit me. And the funniest part is that the boss still managed to feel weirdly intimidating even though it's basically a giant fluffy cat. I love that the developers added stuff like this though because it keeps the update from feeling too serious all the time. But probably the most visually beautiful part of the update for me was Gilded Lament because this boss fight feels completely different from everything else. You enter this hidden arena underneath the palace, and suddenly the entire atmosphere changes. Everything becomes quiet, eerie, elegant, and honestly, kinda creepy. The environment is filled with white silk and haunting visuals, and the boss herself attacks using these flowing water sleeve movements that look amazing in motion. Compared to the rooftop chaos of the Blackclad fight, this encounter feels way more graceful and haunting. The cracked face aesthetic, the music, the slow, elegant movement, it all creates a really unique atmosphere that stands out from the rest of the update. I think that's the biggest reason this update works so well. It never stays in one mood for too long. One minute you're uncovering palace conspiracies and fighting assassins across rooftops, and the next minute you're getting arrested for sitting in the wrong chair or losing a slap battle against some random NPC. The combat feels cinematic. The palace feels alive, and there are so many random interactions packed into this map that exploration actually stays entertaining the entire time. And apparently, the next phase is bringing an even crazier boss version of Big Zhao himself. And after everything this story has been hinting at, I'm genuinely curious to see how insane that fight gets. So yeah, after spending time with this update, I honestly think this might be one of the strongest expansions Where Winds Meet has had so far. If you're into open-world RPGs, Wuxia combat, cinematic boss fights, or just games with really creative world design, this update is genuinely worth checking out. Huge thanks again to Where Winds Meet for sponsoring today's video. Where Winds Meet is available on PC, PS5, and mobile, and it's completely free to play. So definitely check it out using the link in the description. And let me know which boss looked the coolest to you, because honestly, I still don't trust that cat.